Bones are amazing things. They hold us up, they support us, they make us strong. But bones have other uses. In the past, bones were thrown by diviners, seeking out the mysteries of the future. Now the bones are cubes, made of plastic or resin, but they still reveal things to us. As they fall from our fingers and rattle across the table, the story becomes clear. Welcome to Bone Throwers Theater, an RPG actual play podcast.
Welcome to Bone Throwers Theater. My name is Aaron, and I will be playing Brother Benedict.
My name is Jeff, and I will be playing Demetrius Norden.
This is Johnny. I'm playing Jorus Glave.
This is Jeremy playing Grayson Digby.
And my name is Jordan, and I'll be playing all the other ones that make life difficult. So, we are coming off of probably one of the most exciting sessions of play that we've had so far.
We accomplished things. We got somewhere.
And we blew up the city.
I had nothing to do with that.
That's weird.
Demetrius.
I don't know what happened.
Demetrius blew up the city.
Benedict helped.
Who's this Demetrius fellow you speak of? My name's Jeff.
It'd be hilarious if we did that in character.
My name is Jeffrey, sir.
Sir Jeffrey. Oh, Jeffrey, come back.
Jeffrey, come here, Jeffrey, sit down, Jeffrey.
Don't do that, Jeffrey.
So anyway, now that we've had the little Jeffrey spasm.
Happens every now and again.
So Brother Benedict, it was crazy because you all went to investigate the freezing that had been happening.
Yeah.
And
Ice. The fire
there
on
was
it.
ice, and then you turned and you saw that the river, you noticed that there was a lot more of a smell of Riemann fire coming from it.
Well, we traced it back as far as we could to the center of the city.
Yes.
And I was like, what is going to happen when the Riemann fire hits the ice? Because I know that something terrible was going to happen, or else the ice wouldn't be spreading towards the river. And there wouldn't be Riemann fire in the water. It was getting too close to the Riemann fire for any kind of
So
comfort.
what you throw Riemann fire on it.
It was a logical conclusion.
No.
I mean, it was,
I thought it was an accident.
He
Like,
flung poo.
It was sewage sludge. Thank you very much.
Which
with Riemann
is...
fire. Sewage sludge with Riemann fire.
Yeah.
It seemed like a logical idea. All right, I'm with you.
It's... See what happened? I thought it was just going to be like, real quick. But no. Jordan's like, nope, it's going to expand everywhere really fast.
well, and then also the ice that hit the water reacted with it.
Yes. You know, all things combined, destroying the little ice monster thingy that happened to be a person.
And then Jorus had a really crazy encounter with something down in a tunnel, branching off of the undermarket. Still doesn't know what exactly happened.
With something.
Something.
Yeah. He could see its bones.
Glowing bones.
I find it very interesting that George didn't divulge that information to the group. Just that I was attacked and knocked out and kidnapped. Didn't say magic at all in his explanation.
He probably didn't think of it
No.
in the moment because he had been given a vision of his hawk telling him in the queen's voice, "Why have you abandoned me?"
Yeah.
Ah.
I was more focused on that.
Yeah.
Which I did say that.
Yeah, well, you did.
And then Grayson,
And then-
you've had a rough day.
Grayson,
Tried to follow me in the cave.
yeah, there was that. Nearly discovered as a magic user.
And then he touched the egg.
And then has come to a realization because he powered the key.
Only the Fae can do that.
Yep.
Because only someone with Fae blood could activate
Yeah.
the key. And then when Digby grabbed it and
It activated.
stairwell
turned
opened
into a portal, none of the rest of our characters made the
No,
connection.
none of us said
At that moment.
Yes.
At that
Funny.
moment, none of our characters
Honestly,
made
while it was happening, Grayson probably didn't make the connection until Adrian says, "It's okay. Walsham would have wanted you to go." And it was like, wait, what?
Hey, I just know I killed little fairy boy. Really easily, too.
Yeah.
Because he didn't get a spell off first.
Uh-huh.
Well,
he
got-
did.
No, he did.
Not
He
against
tried.
me.
But Benedict did his daredevil thing and
Yeah.
took
Oh,
all of
right.
it
Took it in the chest.
Because
and
Norden
redirected it.
Yeah.
shot a bolt of lightning at Adrian and Mar, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it was at Grayson.
Oh, was it at Grayson? Yeah.
Oh,
It was at
as
Grayson.
Grayson was sneaking around to try to get the key.
All right. So when we last left off, the last thing that happened was the key actually opened. The lock was turned, and you could say, and a staircase appeared leading down into the ground.
And we entered the staircase. Grayson was the last one, and it closed up behind him.
Yes. It kind of sucked in backwards.
Did we bring the key with us?
The key was the staircase.
The key was a
Oh,
staircase.
the key turned into the staircase. That's
Yes.
correct.
Yeah. So the key rematerializes into the key
On the
on
face
our
side.
in the.
It might. Yeah.
Well, Grayson said standing right there. Did it?
Well, let's talk about what happens as you go down the staircase.
Okay.
So, as you're going down, you're
Roll
seeing...
initiative.
Would I be that mean?
Yes.
Yes.
As we're going down the staircase, you can see what looks like glimpses into other realms. Not just the Fey realm. You can see things that look like... It looks like there's an infinite amount of possibilities because you're passing basically through a mirror, living Quicksilver. And there are reflections that are going off into infinity as you're going down the staircase. What is one thing that each of you sees that you would not expect as you go down?
Like alternate reality
Yes.
type.
Ooh. Oh. Does everyone see what our characters see?
No,
No,
you
it's
each
only
see something
Your own private vision.
very special to you.
Are we seeing snippets of what our life could be?
What could have been?
What could be, what might have been, what you thought was impossible.
What the truth actually is.
Oh.
Okay. So, then something that could never have happened, and this is what Jorus sees. He sees himself executing the queen.
Ooh.
Do you hear anything?
No. It's complete silence. It's just Jorus cutting the queen's head off with his sword.
Benedict sees himself standing in front of a very, very ornate, large church congregation, wearing long, ornate robes and giving a oration.
Do you hear anything of what other Benedict is saying?
No, again, no audio. It's just kind of a mirror. It's as you pass by, you can
So Demetrius sees a myriad of things, most of which don't make a lot of sense.
Okay.
But he does see himself and many different possible lives that he could have lived.
Okay.
One where he was just a beggar, one where he had never been contacted by anyone in the spies and had never met Digby. So he just lived a normal clockmaking life. One where instead of being a clockmaker, he learned how to fight on the streets and became a brawler and had broken limbs and huge muscles and cool things. A tattoo on his eye. On his eye, yes.
We're talking. That's a Full Metal Alchemist reference, isn't it?
I know the
Or
Japanese
Mike
lady.
Tyson reference.
But things like that, back and forth.
Yes.
Good things and bad things. But the one that stuck out most to him was seeing what had happened to him in this timeline that he lived and how the progression of him breaking into 1,000 pieces happened. And then the next step to being mended in mind and spirit and finding peace without time.
Okay.
Without time.
Time is not everything.
Digby.
Digby, it's like he's walking down this long corridor. It looks like the corridor is lined with Fae that all are wearing what Adrian would typically wear, but he hears Adrian's voice behind him saying, "Keep going, just take one step right after another." And as he passes each of the what he thinks was Fae, they remove their mask. He sees the faces of all the people in the real world that he had known. So he sees Cyril, he sees Haley, he sees Byram, he sees Aunt Ivy, and he starts to get a little shaken, and he feels a hand on his back saying, "It's okay, just keep going." And he turns to look at Adrian, and Adrian looks like a regular face, like human face.
All right. And as this is happening, it seems like, as you were saying, time has become something else. It's not a feeling that you really experience in a linear fashion. It feels very jagged. It's almost like an adrenaline rush because you don't know what's coming next. You have all of these emotions and feelings that range from like extreme giddiness to the lowest of lows that all of you have ever felt in your lives. You feel like you've seen things that have given you hope for the future. You see things that have made you feel like your entire life has been a waste, and you feel like you're a person who's broken, or that you've seen something that you shouldn't have. And as you reach the bottom, there is one final mirror. As you reach the bottom, you have to push through it. And as you do, it feels like you are actually entering into a pool of water face first, just walking into water. And as you push through, it feels colder than you could ever imagine.
I'm just picturing the scenes from.
Stargate.
That's all I can think of. No, I'm picturing the Waygates from Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
Where they walk into the ways and they have to walk into their reflection.
Well,
It takes forever and seconds at the same time.
and it's all distorted as they're
Yeah.
walking towards it. And,
Yeah.
Stargate.
yeah.
When you are through, if you looked at your hands, it would look like there's frost, like on glass, etched over your skin. Adrian is the last through. As soon as he steps through, he actually pulls off his mask. He takes a deep breath. Feels good. It's very constricting in this. And he sticks the mask back behind his cloak into his belt. Now, where are we?
Are the rest of us breathing normally? Or are we having trouble breathing?
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
Good question.
Roll might.
Yeah, go ahead and roll mine.
Oh, well, that's
10.
Okay.
15.
Okay.
16.
Okay.
7.
You're breathing fine. The rest of you are gasping.
If we breathe too heavily.
Uh-huh. What problems?
Well, what's going on?
Adrian comes up to you and he pulls off his gloves that he's always worn in front of you. And he reaches out with his four-fingered hand and puts it on your forehead and then just kind of blows into your face. And with that, you're able to breathe. Then he repeats that for both Jorus and Benedict as well. I thought all of you were sons of Walsham.
What? What do you mean?
I'm not a son of Walsham.
But you operated his key?
Hold on, what now?
Yeah.
Jorus turns and looks at Grayson. See magic aura.
Okay.
Blinded.
Oh, what's the target number on that?
It was 15, but I failed.
Yeah, you
Okay.
rolled an 8.
Yeah.
So you go to like open yourself up, and it's like putting a piece of an aluminum foil into a microwave. It's just like sparks everywhere, all over the place.
Are there visual sparks or is it just my mind?
It's in your
Okay.
head. You know, it's
Because it'd be crazy to do like visual sparks.
yeah.
I was thinking it's like he just see magic aura, fireworks just start going off everywhere. It's like,
It's really
Well, that's why I was focused on you.
yeah. It's really disorienting.
Because I know there's magic everywhere in the one buffet.
Yeah.
So.
But there just is too much for you to be
Okay.
able to determine one thing or another.
I'm still just staring at him.
Yeah, Demetrius is kind of staring at Digby as well. He's like, do I even know anything about you? I know I didn't know a lot, but
I'm just thinking to myself, well, Walsham told me to watch him.
True.
I don't say it out loud. It's just something in myself.
Digby pipes up. It's like, I mean, in our world, sons of somebody doesn't necessarily mean that they are children of them. Like, sons of something can be used as a phrase to consider yourself as part of a group of something.
I always just thought you were the son of Gray.
That was bad.
No. Needs to be blood to work. Key.
So what you're telling us is that Grayson is fairy.
Ah?
Because it has to be fairy blood to work the key.
No, well,
Or is it...
blood of Walsham to
Blood
work
of
that
Walsham.
particular key.
You know what? Timing is everything, and we need to get going. I'm getting past this because we have an objective. Shall we continue to where we need to go?
I mean, point out, mist is gray.
All right. Which way is the king of the mist court?
Grayson.
Demetrius is trying to like block out everything right now because what he saw walking through the stairs kind of shook him a little bit more.
Grayson can't speak in complete sentences right now. He's just like, what? My parents.
Benedict walks up. Oh, go ahead, finish.
Well, that's what he's doing. He's not finishing.
Benedict walks over to Grayson, puts his hand on his shoulder. It doesn't matter who your parents are. It matters who you are.
Yes, I agree.
All of a sudden, Aderin stoops down on the ground, kind of squats down with his knees up to his chest, and reaches into a pouch and pulls out some bones. And he begins tossing the bones on the ground. He rolls the bones about
He's
3
a
times.
bone thrower.
Yeah. He's like,
And he did live in a theater.
So that was
The Bone Throwers Theater.
that works. I'm going to reward that.
Thank you.
Jeff just got him on a hero point.
Jeff's gonna die this game. Jordan just keeps giving him hero points.
It's like in a video game. You walk down the hallway and there's all these life
potions everywhere.
It's like, well.
Might as well just collect all these while we go. He finishes bone throwing. He stands up and brushes off his hands and knees. And he says, Palace missed that way. And he points off towards the east.
I'm going to roll my navigation and start going that way.
Okay. Wow. You should navigate all the time, Jeff.
15, 18.
Okay. So it's pretty obvious as you start walking where the palace is because you're starting to see this mist is rolling along the ground, obscuring a lot of things, and it only sits about 4 feet off the ground. So it's kind of like you're wading through this.
Is it from the ground up to 4 feet, or is it just like a hovering level at 4 feet?
No, it's from the ground up to 4 feet.
Okay.
So you're going along, and it becomes very apparent what's the castle because you start seeing like the mist is rising up, and it's formed into the shape of.
When we get maybe, I don't know, 500 yards from the castle, I want to recast Bless.
Okay, we'll go ahead and say that you guys get to that point without
Okay.
too much incident.
All right.
Grayson is in the back.
Okay.
He's sort of just following everybody. Deep in thought.
Sure.
So we'll say that the little short circuit that you had earlier, trying to see magic, has really thrown off your senses. It's just not enough.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I can, I'm going to try it again.
Okay.
So.
Go ahead.
19. Perfect.
All right. And Aderin Mar actually moves to the front of the group.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So you guys, you reach the gates. As you were walking up to them, he goes, Digby, forward.
Why?
You must be in front. You must be with me.
Why with you? I'm with the rest of the group.
Present yourself to the king.
Guards must see you first.
Demetrius is going to make his way to the back of the boat.
Fine.
So at this point, you guys get to the gates, and There are some very fearsome looking guards there. You all would never have seen crocodiles before, I would imagine.
I may have, possibly, between my time in the army and serving in Queen Palace.
Go ahead,
So it's
even or odd.
possible. Let's say even.
Odd.
It was not the red die. I should have seen that. So it wasn't going to be a 6.
I rolled a 1 on the even die. Still a 1. You've never seen like a crocodile
Yeah.
before, but that's what this looks like. These guards are naturally armored. It looks like with heavy overlapping scales and a large snout that is home to large, powerful-looking teeth. Their squinty eyes.
I mean, we would have had the sort of stories of dragons.
Yes.
Well, yes,
So
dragons, yeah.
That's probably the closest
Closest
we can
we know,
equate to
yeah.
it and be like, ooh.
And so, as the guards come up, Adrian holds out his hands and he says, "Do this." And he kind of nudges you with his arm.
Meanwhile, Jeremy's sitting here with his arms crossed, scowling on his face.
Grayson, that's what Grayson's doing. Has his arm crossed and he's like just scowling, looking at Adrian, and shrugs.
"Do you want head eaten?"
By them?
Ah.
Immediately puts his arms out.
Does he tell all of us to do that, or
No.
Okay, I'm assuming I'm not very far behind it.
No, you're only about a yard or so behind.
Okay, yeah.
Far enough so that you're not stepping on their feet, but far enough back to be a little respectful.
Yeah.
And Adrian comes up to the guards and says, "Two who have passed through the mortal realms have come home."
Grayson shakes his head. It's like, there has been a mistake.
And the guards put their muzzles down into each of your hands and just start snuffling.
Grayson likes to stay clean.
He washes regularly.
It's not like touching your hands or anything like that. There's just smelling.
Except for one of them has a cold.
Yeah. All of a sudden, there's a giant glob of snot right in the middle of your hands. No. The guards say, "You both may pass. Who are with you?" "These are mortals coming to seek the queen of their realm. They must each give their name."
I am Brother Benedict.
I'm not hesitating in character. I'm trying to think of exactly how I want to say my name to them.
Okay.
I would know, I know proper palace protocol, but I also know that fairies have extreme magic,
Yes.
and there's power in a name.
Benedict's like, "Ah!"
Gosh, I wish Demetrius knew more about Fae.
Gosh, I wish Grayson knew less about the Fae.
Demetrius is gonna give his name Demetrius Norden.
I am Master Jorus, the Queen's falconer.
And when all three of you say your names, it's like you can feel like a warmth, like suffusing you.
Question. So when we're talking about names, that's usually to do with true names.
Mm-hmm.
So Brother Benedict isn't my true name, it's the name that I use.
Yes.
Now,
It's how you know yourself.
okay.
That is your true name, is how you know yourself. Okay. Out of character, all I can think of is Dresden, and how much power the Fae have over you when they know your true name.
So, the warmth that you feel around you, the guards say, "We now extend the protection of the Palace of Mist to you. Hold no iron, brook no hate."
Well, then I sheathe my sword.
And the gates open.
I follow Adrian in.
Okay.
I don't lead the way.
Okay.
Obviously. Grayson is being forced to the front.
And what do you all see when you enter the Palace of the Mist?
Mist.
That's what the walls are made out of.
The walls and large, thick pillars
Mhm.
that swirl in spirals with varying depths, so you can see like patterns flowing up and down these pillars, and like a strip that's thinner and shade for the walkway. Very intricate details in the mist itself, making the place very, very ornate.
Well, I imagine that, we're walking into the palace itself, right? So we're not in the throne room. So I imagine, we see a bunch of side rooms and with various delegations going on in each room.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that'd be uncommon about it, a sight for Jorus, would be the fact that, they're all fairy versus human.
Right.
But other than that, I would imagine it looks similar to any other palace that you see.
Sounds good. Now, what do you see, Brother Benedict?
Benedict's kind of fascinated because, Benedict led, again, a sheltered life. So he's just kind of staring at everything. Like, he's very interested in the way the mist moves under our feet, how it kind of doesn't look solid. So he's kind of like touching everything he can get his hands on it.
Pillar!
Walls, ooh, the pillar, ooh, the ground.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's Adrian now.
But not like crawling on his hands and knees, but just kind of like as he's walking by a wall, he's kind of running his hand along it. As he's walking on the pillar, he's kind of like just looking at it.
And your fingers actually kind of sink into the pillars and the walls as you're dragging it through, and then it actually sends all sorts of spirals and tesseracts and everything through the patterns that have already been made, turning it into a totally different kind of chaotic beauty. Grayson, what do you see?
Nothing. Look straight forward.
His feet.
Yeah, Grayson's trying not to pay attention to anything. He's just, where do we need to go? Matter of fact, just looking at Adrian, taking each step that Adrian takes.
You hear whispers that seem to be coming from the side rooms where other people, and courtiers and such that you all pass, you hear. It's like people are stopping and they're looking at your group. But it could just be because there's a bunch of humans with a weird
We smell funny.
thing. Yes, you do. And you all reach the throne room. Actually, no, it's not the throne room. We'll say that like a major domo comes and starts leading your group to a small side chamber, and that's several floors up in the palace. So you all are going through a whole bunch of staircases and.
As we go
hallways.
up, do we leave the mist behind, or does it seem to be flowing everywhere?
The entire palace is made of mist.
So it's like just flowing
Yes.
out off the walls. And,
Yeah.
Okay.
So are the floors solid, or are they made of mist that's just magically solid?
It's magically solid.
Okay.
And you do, as you pass by a window, it seems that the landscape that you had gone through, we'll say that it was originally a forest, right? Like a very natural looking rolling hill kind of forest. And then all of a sudden it changes. And it's no longer a forest, it looks more like a sandy beach. It's like you passed one window in a line of windows. One window, it was forest. The next window was a beach.
Okay, if Grayson sees that, he's going to stop. Take a few steps backwards to the last window.
Beach.
Shake his head and keep walking.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like we don't know what to expect, so anything, even though it's surprising, is not a surprise. I've never been here myself, so.
Yeah. And this is not one of your normal stops.
No.
As you reach the room, it takes a few moments to wait, and they go ahead and they bring you a tray of delicacies to eat while you wait.
Yeah.
What does that entail?
No, it's no. The question is, in this realm of fairy magic that we are playing for this game, what is the lore regarding fairy food?
Would any of us know?
I might know.
So there's food on the table if you
Grayson
want.
wouldn't.
If you want to.
Grayson's
like,
not going to eat. He doesn't have an appetite right now.
Does any of it look sweet, or is it savory appearing, or is it?
There's some sweetmeats. There are some that's more savory. It looks like
Is there any pastries? Benedict's fond of pastries.
there's nothing that would seem to be a pastry, but there is bread and salt.
Benedict's gonna start grabbing a couple handfuls of whatever's available at that point.
All right.
While he's doing that, he's eating, looking around
Okay.
at the wall still.
And with that, we're going to take a break.
If you like dungeons with dragons in them, check out Alzamo Soup.
Phil, there's no dragons in these books.
I'm trying to reach our target audience.
Hi,
here.
everybody. I'm Metz.
I'm Phil.
And we're the hosts of Alzabo Soup, a literary podcast that focuses on analyzing long-form speculative fiction, with a focus on the author Gene Wolfe.
We really like to dig into the novels, going real slow and analyzing every little aspect of these books.
Phil is so excited about it, he has a shovel with +3 to digging.
Is that okay?
No, that's not a stat
Is that
at
a
all.
thing? Can I go to the Dungeons and Dragons store in the Dungeons and Dragons game and buy a +3 shovel? Please, please, please say yes.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Here.
I'm gonna roll to buy the shovel.
You fail. There are no shovels to buy.
This is nothing like our podcast.
Absolutely not.
Listen to Alzabo Soup at alzabosoup.libsyn.com or where all fine podcasts can be found.
We're talking about iTunes.
And Spotify.
And we're back.
Okay. So, Jorus sees Benedict grabbing some of the foods. How fast do you put the food into your mouth after you've grabbed the first piece?
I mean,
is the question.
I'm
You
grabbing,
making like a little
armfuls.
plate?
Yeah, no plate. Just like grabbing a bunch of pieces and
So you don't like just grab it and throw it straight into your mouth?
no, start walking away from the table as he's getting ready to.
Okay. I grab Benedict by the arm, say, careful eating anything from here. We don't know what side effects it may have on our bodies.
Okay, small bites.
And Grayson walks by, just looking around at the ceilings, and says, "Yeah, I wouldn't trust anything they give or say to us here."
Should I not eat this?
I would advise against it. Adrian. Would it be...
So
Would-
we are under the Mist Court's protection.
Yes. Would the
We've been
food
watching
here affect our human bodies
No.
in a magical way, or is it safe for us to eat and not affect us adversely?
All is human food.
It's all human food.
I eat your food, I find.
I understand that, but with magic, sometimes things work differently.
No, all food's from your world.
It's all from our world. Okay.
Okay, it's not Benedict starts eating.
The bread and salt is a symbolic form of welcoming, actually. It's a symbol that, a further symbol that you're under their protection. You're looking over the walls and everything like that?
Yeah, he's just eyes wandering everywhere.
So it's pretty cool. It's like there's some walls that look like there are tapestries showing off, like hunts of unicorns and such.
Are the tapestries made of mist?
Yes, it's like actually the walls changing. So, and it's like animated as well. So you see actually like a hunt being led by a man with a head of a stag. And you see what looks like some of the mosaics that have been in the catacombs. There were the mosaics showing the meeting of humans and Fae for the first time. And it looks like there are some that are reflecting the same scenes.
Are there any like engravings or any wordings on there? Any?
Not in a language you would understand. It looks like the script is alien. And some of them actually seem to be like portraits of people going through the mist. Like you see something like a face swims forward to the front and then recedes into the back again. And one of them is a trio of faces. Looks like a young Walsham, and a fairy woman, and a small child.
The plot thickens.
Is Grayson the only one looking at that particular one at that point?
Even or odd?
Odd.
Everybody roll a d6.
Everybody roll d6.
1.
5.
2.
Those two. Oh, okay. Benedict is easy.
Is
with the
easy.
snack.
Grayson's gonna turn and look at other walls. Lies.
What lies?
He doesn't claim Walsham as his father.
Miss doesn't lie. Miss shows history.
Does it show the history of who's looking at it, or just history?
Sometimes is affected, but don't think any of you are had men hunting.
Well,
Jorus is pretty horse-faced.
well,
Not the same.
How long are we in this room?
Yeah.
About an hour.
That's gonna be like eating at Demetrius the entire time. He's gonna be like pacing, getting more and more impatient.
After we've been in there for a while, Benedict's actually going to pull out his staff
Okay.
with the blade and the iron butt cap,
Mm-hmm.
and He's going to attempt to touch one of the walls with that cap.
Do I see him doing this?
Do you have notice?
I have perceptive.
Go ahead and roll perceptive.
Well, I mean,
Well,
that's my
that's a
perk.
Oh, perceptive.
Well,
Oh,
I wouldn't use that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't use that either, but...
but just
Use
naturally.
it
That,
for
means,
something else.
So, I mean, no, I don't have notice as a skill.
that would fall under wit, though.
Yeah, fall under wit.
You can go ahead and roll 4D. How obvious are you being?
I mean, I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm just curious.
Okay, then
Literally just take the staff and just touch a wall.
we'll say that you notice.
I run up, and I quickly grab the staff.
Should I not do that either?
Did you hear what the guard said when we were coming in? They said we were under their protection.
Yeah,
Said, hold no iron.
I'm not holding it. Don't you want to know? Will it have any effect on this wall?
I can tell you, there's two possible effects. Neither one of them are good.
Okay,
One is you declare war on the Mist King.
that would be bad.
The other is breaking the magic that's holding us up in the air.
That would also be bad. Okay, so gonna ask Adrian. If iron touched the walls or the floor, what would happen to the castle?
Why would you do that?
Just want to know.
In fact, while I'm holding the staff, I take a piece of cloth and I wrap it around the cap on the end of the staff.
And the blade. Don't forget the blade.
Well, no, because he won't be accidentally putting the blade on the ground.
No.
Touched. Guards would come.
So it's a bad thing.
Most human instinct here bad.
I will try to remember that.
So after the cloth is firmly wrapped around, covering the steel on the butt of the staff, I'll give it back to
Okay.
Brother Benedict.
Someone says, "All rise for the king."
I stand at attention.
Grayson's looking around, like, were there even chairs in here?
You could have sat. One may form for you when you tried to sit.
Demetrius is gonna take a few steps closer to the end of the room where the king is being announced from.
Okay.
I stand at attention,
To
turning
show
to
that
the,
he's
the
paying
door.
attention.
And so in comes a whole group of Fae. It's pretty easy to tell which one is the king.
Stag head.
No, he's actually he looks old. Like, he's twisted with age. His eyes are just very moist. It's like, the older people whose eyes just seem to constantly have tears in them. And he's moving very slowly. And, I'm not sure what...
I'm not sure what's going on either.
I don't
Everybody
know.
just started
I
staring
think-
at me.
I think we had the same thought.
I think so.
Okay.
What?
Prince Grayson.
Oh, gosh. No. Grayson would be like, oh, that's it. I'm done. I'm out of here.
I'll just freeze and burn with everyone else.
The king actually seems to take a bit of a time coming into the room because he's so old. He holds out both of his hands at about
Elbow height.
elbow height. Yeah,
Armchair length.
yeah, and the mist forms up into a chair that allows him to sit down. Pretty much as he comes into the room.
So we are now in the throne room.
Yes, the throne.
Wherever the king is. That's
In
the
Soviet fair realm, throne room comes to you.
Yes.
I take a knee.
Okay.
Is the mist still this high?
No.
In the palace has been ankle height.
Okay.
Inside the palace has been ankle height.
Okay.
In the palace, it's a lot lower. Or he would have just disappeared.
Yeah.
Demetrius is just gonna sort of stand there and look sideways at Jorus and be like,
Royalty that we respect.
yeah, respect, but
Then
not.
I say rise.
Yeah, I waited until he was in the room and seated, and then I took a knee.
It's not a sign of protest, it's a sign of respect.
Bring it back.
The king looks at all of you and he looks at Adrian and he says, "I see that there are humans in my castle.
After he starts speaking, I'll stand back up.
Okay. And one seems to know the courtly manners of his kind.
Your Majesty.
You have something to say?
Benedict has absolutely nothing to say.
Neither does Demetrius. It's just gonna be like,
Grayson is still looking around at the walls.
He's
He's not moving around, but he's still just looking around at the walls.
Does he want to make eye contact, does he?
He's not overtly avoiding eye contact. Just seems not that interested.
And why has Adrian Mar brought you to me?
Your Majesty, we seek your aid in rescuing our queen. She has been taken by the Bay Banshee.
And what aid do you think I can give? The Mist Court and the Bay Banshee have been divided now for many of your centuries.
You have the knowledge and the ability to fight the Bay Banshee that we do not. We, coming from our realm, have lost many of the ways of magic.
And those ways that you have were stolen from us forcibly. But that is neither here nor there.
Demetrius is going to give a slight bow and be like, Your Majesty, mostly we just need a way to get into their domain so that we can fight our way through and get our queen back. We don't have a way to get in, and we would like a way to get out too, if possible.
So you are looking for a way to travel through my lands into the realm of those with whom we both have enmity.
If that is the only way, then yes, please. Your Majesty.
Aside from them taking our queen, the Bay Banshee have made alliances amongst other human realms that are giving them strength in our world. They are forcibly taking over our kingdom and destroying it, killing its citizens. Our queen was a target of them when she refused to give them honor.
For that, she was taken?
Yes, she did not wish to give the Bay Banshee power, and they took her.
I cannot see over that river that separates us. My vision is clouded with age. But there is one who may, and you have my permission to seek that one out.
What is the name of this one that we seek?
The Oracle of Prophet. You will find her in the beach grove.
Would you be willing to grant us a guide? Your Majesty?
Is that why you keep him around? Jeff just nodded his head and made a pointing motion towards Johnny.
Yes, I am the one with the courtly manners here.
A guide may be granted. I do see that young Adrian has served you well.
Yes, Your Majesty.
I am concerned that there is a child.
He can hold his own. I can attest to that. As thus far.
Your Majesty, we are all servants of Lord Walsham, whom I have been told you are acquainted with.
You should have never married my niece.
I am sad to say that he was murdered when the queen was taken.
To think he didn't have to waste his life like that. But what bearing does that have on the child?
The child who accompanies us is the one who activated Lord Walsham's key.
Unconfirmed. Unconfirmed. Supposedly. There's a lot of weird stuff going on. Who knows?
But you touched the key, and it did the thing with the stairs in the floor, where there were no stairs in the floor.
I was present when it happened, yes. And in proximity, yes. We've been seeing people teleport
Yes,
out
we
of
have.
people's grasp.
I've seen it.
You've seen it. You've been holding somebody as they teleported. I mean, just because I was touching it doesn't mean that I was the one that did it.
According
But
to...
Edrin keeps saying that
Adrian,
you
yes.
are the one that did it.
Sorry, I'm not arguing in front of the king.
Go ahead and roll persuasion.
Persuasion.
I don't say anything to them.
3, 24, 25, 26.
Is that resisted or, I mean, probably wit? As Benedict rolls a 3.
Benedict fully believes this story.
As Grayson is speaking, a piece of bread comes loose from his tooth. He's like,
Jorus rolled a 6. Or, no, what?
A 13.
13.
I rolled a 18.
18. All of the party believes.
No. Jorus doesn't really.
Yeah.
But he's not going to argue in front of the king.
Well, Benedict actually, we have seen God directly intervene on our behalf on numerous occasions.
Grayson is doing best not to smirk at that. At that comment.
Because in the end, it's calling you God.
Yes.
So then Benedict turns to the king and says, I know you are concerned with his safety, but as we are discussing, God himself has taken care of him and our group and will continue to do so. And I will lay down my life before this child comes to harm.
You keep using the word child?
I didn't mean it.
King's the one that said it.
All of you are children.
Compared to your majesty, yes.
One is just closer to infancy than others.
I'm so tempted to say something right now.
To be super snarky.
Yes. Hair point? I'm doing it for a hair point. So Grayson turns to the rest of the group and says, okay, it's been established that nobility here means the exact same thing as nobility in our own realm. So, may we be on our way? Your Majesty. And he bows.
I was to move the palace closer to the oracle for you. But if you would like to march through my realm for how long, Adrian? 3 weeks? That can be arranged.
My point exactly, he says to the rest of the group.
Your point is that you like to insult people?
My point is, nobility likes to sit back and do absolutely nothing.
It seems you all have much to discuss.
But your majesty, timing is everything. And quickness is essential.
Oh my god.
Your majesty, please forgive the rudeness of our group.
Honesty?
I will give you some time to discuss this decision amongst yourself before any final decisions are made.
Thank you, your majesty.
Which decision?
And I take a knee again.
And the king gets up and shuffles out of the room.
Andrew, what decision was he talking about?
Do you want him to move palace or no?
If that's far quicker, then please.
It's far quicker.
Then please, yes. Please.
Oh, don't convince me. Convince him.
Moving the palace was never said. It was a bunch of sitting and talking. I could do this, but I'm not going to. That should sound familiar to Jorus, because he hears that kind of talk all the time.
That's the way the court works.
And that's what I said. That's the way nobility works.
Yes.
If you recall, when you showed up with our group, you kind of disappeared. And then when things were done, showed up and said, good job, we've done it.
He just sort of nods.
Those two can attest.
But what you cannot attest to is what I was doing when you were not with me. That may be what you see happening. With every discussion that happens, things do get accomplished. You cannot just go rushing off, hot-headed.
Brother Benedict, didn't it take you and I busting into Parliament, busting into the Privy Council for things to actually happen?
Yes, I remember a lot of busting.
You were not dealing with royalty.
Well,
We're the ones wasting time, so
And
over the palace.
actually, we were
Yes.
dealing with nobility. If
Nobility. I didn't say that. I said you're not doing it with royalty then. This time we're dealing with royalty, not nobility.
All right, you said yes.
Yeah.
We're gonna move the palace. Please, please move the palace.
I never said no to moving the palace. Palace wasn't even said to be moved before I said anything.
Well, now it has been. We're gonna move it because timing is. No, I'm
Yes.
harping on this right now.
Really? Really, Demetrius? Timing is everything?
Yes,
Mr. Quick to throw a knife?
because we needed to get something done.
And that set us 3 steps backwards.
Edric, we have come to a decision.
Well, protocol very large here.
Oh boy, does that sound familiar.
Yeah, we've already been waiting for a long time.
That's true. But King might need to hear apology?
For what?
He insulted the king.
But what did he say to insult the king?
Truth.
For the sake of expediting this, would you please just say, I apologize.
Benedict
It
goes,
can be for anything.
he's your uncle for crying out loud.
No. My father was William Digby. Sure, I'll make an apology.
What are you going to say in this apology?
Apparently, I spoke out of turn.
That's valid.
Yes.
Go with it.
Technically, there should be more said with that, but I will let that pass myself.
We're gonna go with it.
Yeah.
We have come to a consensus and an agreement. We would like to get this thing moving. Literally.
I'll look out the window. Are we moving?
Well, you're no longer on the beach. It looks like the palace is now overlooking a canyon.
Neat. Kind of terrifying. I'm gonna stop looking out the window. Windows, mirrors, all things that require looking. I'm just gonna remove my eyes.
Why'd you tell all this to me?
Yet again, we're in a palace, waiting in a room for something to happen.
We're not locked in this time.
But still waiting.
I can't argue with that, but
Did the king leave?
but we're not locked. Yes, he left the
He
room.
shuffled out, yes.
Well,
He said he'd come back in an hour or so.
did he come back in an hour?
And we'll find out how that meeting with the king goes next week as Digby eats pie.
Digby's not eating anything.
Except his words. Dig
Humble pie.
Next time on Bone Through Ader and Marthier.
And with that, have a good one. Thank you for listening to Bone Throwers Theater. Our cast is Aaron, Jeff, Jeremy, Johnny, and Jordan. We are releasing this podcast under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 3.0 Unported license. That means that you can share the podcast, but please do not modify it or try to gain financially from it. If you would like to visit our website, you can do so at bonethrowerstheater.com. If you would like to send us an email, you can do so at bonethrowerstheater@gmail.com. Our Twitter handle is @bonethrowerstheater, and also you can look us up on Facebook and Google+. And until next time, may the bones fall ever in your favor. This has been a Nerd Circle podcast production.